Hi, this is your math coach, Howie Tutman, presenting What Math Should My First Grader Know? I've recorded videos in the four domains or groupings of standards in math for first grade. This video is the third of 6 videos in the number and operations grouping. The video is about comparing two-digit numbers. If you have any questions or comments, please email me at hrtutman@gmail.com. The complete text of the standard that this video is based upon follows at the end of the video. This standard is a continuation of understanding place value. So in this standard, we're comparing two-digit numbers based on their meanings of the tens and the ones. And then once a student can do that, they're actually then going to record this using the greater than, less than, or equal symbol. So let's take a look. Here I have the numbers 48 and 34. And what I've done up here is I've placed base 10 blocks to represent these numbers. So hopefully over time, students won't need to be looking at these base 10 blocks and just be able to internalize it so that when they see the number 48, they know that the 4 is in the tens column, and that represents 4 bundles of 10 or 4 groups of 10. And this 8 represent 8 ones. But this is a visual representation. Same thing with 34. 34 represents 3, which is in the tens column, or 3 groups of 10. And the 4 is in the 1 column, and it represents 4 ones. So the most important digit in the two-digit number when we're comparing the numbers and trying to determine the value of the number is the tens place. So basically, we want the student to look at the tens place first. There are 4 tens here. Don't pay any attention to the ones for now. And in this number, there are 3 tens. So since these digits are different, we're just going to compare 4 tens versus 3 tens. And our first grader hopefully will determine that 4 tens are greater. And then what we're looking for them to do is to put the symbol either greater than, less than, or equal to between these two numbers. And sometimes for the first graders, this is a little bit difficult. So as a little hint, this is the greater than sign. And what I would look at is on this left side, it's wider here. There's more space here. So on this side is where our larger or our greater number is going to be. Our larger number is 48. So we're going to use this symbol, which is the greater than symbol. There's more space here. So 48 is greater than 34. So now I'm comparing two different numbers. I'm comparing the number 23 and 35. And we'd want our first grader to do the same thing in these two-digit numbers. We'd want them to look in the tens place. So here, 23 in the tens place is the digit 2, which represents 2 tens. And in the number 35, the digit 3 represents 3 tens. So we'd want our student to say, okay, which is greater or which is less? 2 tens versus 3 tens. Hopefully they'll say 2 tens is less than 3 tens. Therefore, the number 23 is less than the number 35. And hopefully they won't be confused by seeing the 3 in the ones place and this 3 in the tens place and thinking that since both numbers have the digit 3 in it, the value of the entire number is the same. So make sure that they're just comparing the tens place to the tens place. And this is less than, okay? So since it's less than, what they can do is think of the wide part being on the right here of this symbol. Therefore, the larger number is going to go on the side where the widest part is. So this is the less than symbol, and this is read as 23 is less than 35. Now let's look at another example. We have the number 57, 5 tens and 7 ones. And on this side, we have the same thing. We have 5 tens and 7 ones. So the number 57 is equal to the number 57. And once again, students would compare the tens place first, 5 tens and 5 tens, and then they would go on to look at the ones, 7 ones in this number and 7 ones in this number. And it's pretty obvious both of these numbers are the exact same thing. So 57 would be equal to 57. And the equal sign is written as these two short lines parallel to each other. So when you look on the left side and the right side, this distance is the same on both sides. One side is not wider than the other. So this would be equal to the number on this side is equal to the number on the other side. Now let's look at the numbers 62 and 64. When we look in the tens place, in 62, the digit 6 represents 6 tens. And when we look at the number 64, the digit 6 in the tens place also represents 6 tens. So it's kind of like a tie. So to break the tie, if you want to look at it that way, now we need to go on to the ones place. And in the number 62, there are only 2 ones. And in the number 64, there are 4 ones. So when we're comparing 2 versus 4, 2 is less than 4. Therefore, the entire number 62 is less than the number 64. And the symbol for less than is this symbol here. And once again, if we look at the width, there's hardly anything at this side of the symbol. This is the smaller side. This is where the smaller number is going to be. This is a little wider here. This is where our larger number is going to be. So 62 is less than 64. In this example, we're really testing to make sure that our first graders understand place value. We're looking at the numbers 32 and 19. And if a first grader doesn't completely understand place value, what they may be looking at is they may be looking at the 9, the digit 9 in 19, and comparing it to the digit 2 in 32 and saying to themselves, 9 is greater than 2, so this entire number, 19, must be greater than 32. And if a student is doing that, it's time to look at the manipulatives again and make sure that they're understanding that this number 19 only has 1 10, where this number 32 actually has 3 tens, and it's the digit in the tens place that we want to be looking at first. So 32, 3 tens is greater than the 1 10 in 19. Therefore, 32 is greater than 19. And once again, this is the greater than symbol. We're looking at the symbol, and the width right here is greater. Therefore, our greater number goes on the left side, and 32 is greater than 19. The last example that I want to take a look at is comparing the numbers 24 and 42. To some of our first graders, they may look at these two numbers and see the digits 2 and 4 in both of the numbers and think, since both numbers have the digits 2 and 4, they must be equal, and then they put an equal sign between the two numbers. So if your first grader is doing that, once again, it's very important to make sure they understand the value of the tens and the value of the ones. And you may want to be looking at the number of tens in each of the digits. So once again, in the number 24, there are two tens, and in the number 42, there's a total of four tens. And it's important that the students look at the tens first and then the ones. So in comparing the number 24 to 42, two tens is less than four tens. Therefore, the entire number 24 is less than 42. 42 is the larger number. The wider side of the symbol is on this side here, on the right side. That's where our larger number is going to go. So 24 is less than 42. If you're interested, here's the complete standard that this video comparing two-digit numbers is based upon. Compare two-digit numbers based on meanings of the tens and ones digits, recording the results of comparisons with the symbols greater than, equal to, and less than.